Good afternoon from the KELOLAND Live Doppler Storm Center. Temperatures continue to warm, already above average in many locations. As you do see, these numbers are in the 30s and 40s. Forecast high in Sioux Falls today, 45. 43 in Aberdeen, 42 in Pierre, and 44 in Rapid City. More details on your forecast coming up as we begin midday in KELOLAND.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group, midday in KELOLAND.
The chairman of the Crow Creek Sioux Tribe reflects on life in early 2024 as a tribe. Plus,
from a Dunkin' Donuts boy band to Beyonce's tease to new music, the stars came out shining in this year's Super Bowl commercials. I'm Naomi Ruckham with the top ads from the big game.
good afternoon and thanks for having us in. The Oglala Sioux Tribe declared a state of emergency back in November due to a breakdown of law and order on the reservation. But it's not the first South Dakota tribe to ask for federal help. Last summer, the Crow Creek Sioux Tribe reached out to state and federal entities asking for help about a public safety crisis. Chairman Peter Lenkeek says they were seeing high rates of gun violence, hit and run, and drug use. However, he says no one responded to the request.
If we're sitting around and waiting for the government to come or the state to come, these things are going to escalate and snowball and get worse. And we've seen that. And we've had enough of it. You know, as tribal leadership, the council and I, it's hard to sit here and watch our people suffer this way.
In 2016, the Lower Brule Sioux Tribe declared a state of emergency because of drugs. It's right across the Missouri River in central South Dakota. These cries for help also went unanswered. In tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, Lauren Solik and I take a look at how the lack of help has left the chairman feeling for their people. Pivoting to weather, it's pretty mild out there. There are hints and whispers of snow before too long, though, right, Scott?
She's don't tell anyone.
Okay, sorry, I let the cat out of the bag.
No, you're right, though. Yeah, in fact, I have a graphic coming up to tell that story here in just a bit. Let's go ahead and start with what's going on right now. Yeah, we do have some thicker clouds in the central and western South Dakota for this afternoon. A lot of sunshine across eastern KELOLAND. That's our winter live cam. You do notice cloud cover overhead. We're looking at a temperature of 43 degrees in winter with that north wind at around 5 miles per hour. This is Aberdeen, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures at 38. We have a light wind around 5 miles per hour. That's been the high temperature since midnight. These numbers will continue to warm. Already 44 in Sioux Falls. Probably have to bump up the forecast number. We're at 40 in Huron, 42 in Mitchell. You see 35 in Watertown, near 40 in Brookings. We're at 40 in Pierre, and our winds are light, 5 to 15 miles per hour. That's coming in for many locations. So that forecast for today, I'll take a look at our current readings, but I'll probably warm that temperature in Sioux Falls. Right now, 45, probably go around 47, maybe 48, 42 for a high in Pierre, and 44 in Rapid City. 20s for overnight lows tonight. We may have some patchy fog by the morning. And for tomorrow, a dry day, temperature still well above average. Numbers in the 40s to near 50 degrees. In fact, we do have 50s in south central South Dakota. There's the whisper that Dan's been hearing, snow coming for Wednesday. This is a look at that European model. On average, I would say a good average would be 1 to 3, but there are a couple of areas here trying to go a little higher than that. The European model is thinking that somewhere in central South Dakota can see 3, maybe 4 inches of snowfall, possibly a little more. What's the American model saying? It's lining up pretty good. You know, I'd say still a good 1 to 3 inches on average, but that strip of heavier snows right along Interstate 90. You see that in darker blue, and then I overlaid in that white contour what the European model was saying. So, you know, all in all, I think we're having some pretty decent agreement between these two models. So expect that snow to move west to east across KELOLAND as we get into Wednesday. We'll have more details on your forecast coming up in a couple of minutes, Dan.
Sounds good. Thank you, Scott. A partnership between Levo Credit Union and the Sioux Falls Storm is raising money for students in need in the Sioux Falls School District. Operation Hope and Caring has provided nearly $90,000 to the 10 Title I schools in Sioux Falls since 2017 and allows each principal to purchase items for their students.
So sometimes these kids can't afford things that many of us take for granted, such as winter gear, socks, underwear, even washers and dryers, because some of the kids don't have access to laundry facilities at home. So one year they were able to purchase washers and dryers so they could do that laundry at school.
Levo Credit Union and the Sioux Falls Storm attempt to raise about $14,000 per year. The next fundraiser for Operation Hope and Caring is coming up on Tuesday, February 20th, from 10 in the morning to 7 in the evening at Air Madness. The Rapid City Regional Airport has announced the addition of a new flight route for this summer. After partnering with Allegiant, Rapid City's airport will begin offering fares to Los Angeles beginning early June. The route to LAX will be summer seasonal, and the flights are scheduled for Mondays and Fridays in June. Super Bowl 58 wrapped up last night with the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Vince Lombardi Trophy in overtime. Every year, Americans spend billions of dollars on snacks consumed during the game, so President Joe Biden used the occasion to call on companies to stop shrinkflation. That refers to when businesses reduce the size of their products without lowering the price. In a video posted on X, the president said the practice is, quote, a ripoff, and said companies should, quote, do the right thing. The Super Bowl is the one time of year many people actually look forward to the commercials. Naomi Ruckham takes a look at which multi-million-dollar ads scored with viewers.
This year's Super Bowl commercials packed in the celebrities and raked in the dough.
Give me a hint.
Worked together for 10 years.
From David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston to David and Victoria Beckham, star power scored high. Ben Affleck's universe came together in a comic spot for Dunkin' Eats.
And needs no introduction, my partner.
Sometimes it's really hard to be your friend.
But the fan favorite on USA Today's ad meter was a nostalgic reunion of comedic odd couple Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
You are a backstabber.
I'm a backstabber.
Comedy usually plays well with ad meter, and of course it played well this year. And then to see Danny DeVito and Arnold back on screen together, it was interesting. Danny was telling us that, that's what drew him to the ad, the fact that he got to work with Arnold again.
Beyoncé broke the internet with a Super Bowl commercial that ended with a surprise announcement, a new album, Renaissance Act 2, coming March 29th. She also dropped 2 new country songs. Ad rates for a 30-second spot in Super Bowl 58 cost nearly $7 million, and Paramount scored even deeper during overtime.
This is the only remaining venue where you can reach an audience of 100 million plus, and that becomes more so every year with the fragmentation of media. So the Super Bowl is still the only game in town.
Budweiser's classic Clydesdales made an appearance, and Kia tugged on the heartstrings with a tearjerker, all hoping to catch consumers' attention and their dollars. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
One ad that raised eyebrows and ire, a super PAC spot for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s presidential bid that superimposed his face over his late uncle, JFK's. RFK Jr. apologized to his extended family for the spot. A motive remains unclear after a woman in a trench coat opened fire in celebrity pastor Joel Osteen's megachurch in Texas. The shooting happened Sunday in between services at Lakewood Church, one of the country's largest megachurches. Police say 2 off-duty officers working security shot and killed the suspect, who was not immediately identified. 2 other people were also shot and wounded, including a 5-year-old boy who entered the church with the shooter and was taken to a hospital in critical condition.